Welcome, collectors and treasure hunters, to another episode of our World Numismatic Finds, where we uncover the hidden gems jingling unnoticed in pockets, purses, and old biscuit tins across Britain. Today, we dive into the top 5 rare UK 2 pence coins that could, yes, unbelievably, be worth far more than their humble face value. From the 1999 corroded survivor to the 1988 dirt-layered relic, the 1990 well-circulated wanderer, the 2000 faded mystery piece, and the 1993 truly dilapidated rarity, each coin carries a story, a spark of history, and the tempting possibility of surprising cash value. Stay tuned, because these modest pennies may just awaken your inner gold hunter. Let's get started up with the 1988 United Kingdom 2 pence coin, specifically one that has survived the decades in a dirty and well-worn state but still carries charm, curiosity, and potential collector interest. As always, get ready for a deep and engaging journey into its history, design, culture, and current market appeal as collectors worldwide continue hunting for rare UK copper coins with unexpected value. The story of the 1988 2 pence coin begins with a fascinating chapter in modern British coinage. This was a period when the UK was transitioning through economic and cultural shifts, and the bronze decimal coins had already become an established part of everyday life. Even though the 2 pence denomination was minted in large numbers, each coin still represents a small but meaningful piece of British heritage. The 1988 issue features the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by renowned sculptor Raphael Macluf, a design admired for its more elegant and mature representation of the Queen. On the reverse, the symbolic badge of the Prince of Wales proudly displays the 3 ostrich feathers rising from a coronet, accompanied by the traditional motto ICHDN, reminding collectors and historians of the deep royal traditions tied to this denomination. If you look closely at the head and tail of the coin, even in a dirty condition, you'll find the story of its journey reflected in every mark and stain. The obverse shows the regal profile of Queen Elizabeth II, capturing the dignity and stability of her reign during the late 80s. The reverse side continues the iconic British design language, remaining true to the original decimalization artwork introduced in 1971. Though this particular coin may appear dull, faded, or discolored, the imagery remains instantly recognizable and historically significant. Many collectors appreciate that even circulated and imperfect coins tell their own version of history, especially when they are over 3 decades old. Culturally, the 1988 2 pence coin serves as a reminder of everyday Britain during a time of changing lifestyles, evolving fashions, and shifting economic landscapes. Generations carried these coins in pockets, purses, and school satchels, and this real life wear is part of what collectors call circulated character. For those passionate about numismatics, this background gives added sentimental value, as small denomination coins represent ordinary life and social history far more than commemorative issues do. They reflect how people lived, traveled, purchased, and interacted across the country. When it comes to physical specifications, the 2 pence coin of this era was struck in bronze and weighs approximately 7.12 grams, giving it a satisfying, solid feel compared to modern plated steel versions. This weight and metal composition are often key attractions for collectors, as they prefer earlier bronze examples due to their color, durability, and nostalgic appeal. Even in dirty condition, the weight and metal quality remain intact, ensuring the coin still retains a sense of authenticity. There are several interesting facts that make the 1988 2 pence a coin worth attention today. While it may not be the rarest coin ever minted, its appeal lies in its age, design era, and the increasing demand for older, original bronze UK coins. Many collectors now seek complete sets of 2 pence coins by year, making every date from the 1980s more desirable than before. The 1988 version is an important part of that decade collection, and coins showing natural wear often become attractive candidates for entry-level collectors or those who enjoy coins that have clearly lived a long life in circulation. The rarity of a dirty condition 1988 2 pence coin lies not in scarcity of numbers but in the interest shown by modern collectors looking for older bronze pieces. Even though millions were minted, far fewer survive today in acceptable condition, and many have been damaged, discarded, or lost over time. While a coin in dirty state won't match the price of a pristine uncirculated piece, it still carries respectable charm and modest market value due to its vintage appeal and the increasing international attention given to British copper coinage. In today's market, a 1988 2 pence coin in noticeably dirty condition can typically be valued at around $1,000 to $1,500, depending on how heavy the wear is and how visible the main features remain. While this might seem small, the true demand comes from complete set builders and international buyers who enjoy collecting year-by-year UK bronze coins. In some cases, slightly better condition pieces from the same year sell for higher amounts, and there is growing interest in bulk purchases of 80s coins, which indirectly boosts the value of each individual example. For collectors who want to preserve or enhance the appeal of their coin, gentle handling is always recommended. Avoid harsh cleaning, as collectors strongly prefer original surfaces even if they appear dirty. Storing the coin in a protective sleeve, keeping it dry, and maintaining room temperature conditions will prevent further deterioration and help retain whatever value it holds. Collectors often appreciate coins that remain unaltered, because cleaning can remove patina and lower desirability. As we come to the end of this detailed look at the 1988 2p coin, it's clear that even a small, ordinary denomination can carry significant cultural, historical, and sentimental value. With its royal symbolism, classic portrait, enduring weight, and connection to everyday Britain, the coin remains a wonderful piece of UK numismatic heritage. Despite its dirty condition, it still holds appeal among enthusiastic collectors who appreciate its age, design, and role within the broader world of bronze decimal coinage. Whether you have one of these tucked away or are searching for your next edition, the 1988 2p coin continues to prove that even the most modest pieces can have stories worth preserving and value worth appreciating. At number 2, the 1999 UK 2p coin, a piece that many people overlook, yet collectors are beginning to recognize for its distinctive character, age, and rising appeal in today's fast-moving marketplace. Even in a corroded state, this particular 2p can generate far more attention than its humble face value suggests, especially when showcased properly and understood for what it truly represents within Britain's modern coinage history. The story of the 1999 2p coin begins with the background of the decimal era, a period when the United Kingdom shifted its monetary system into a streamlined, modern structure. By the late 1990s, the 2p coin had already become a familiar everyday denomination, but each year's edition still carried its own specific mintage figures, metal compositions, and minor design refinements. The 1999 mintage came during a time when copper-plated steel had become the standard for low-value UK coins, replacing the earlier bronze issues. This transition not only changed the internal structure of the coins but also made them far more susceptible to corrosion, which is why examples found today can often display surface decay, pitting, or dark patches that add to the individuality of each surviving piece. On one side of the coin sits the regal effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, showcasing her portrait as it appeared in the early years of her mature reign. The head side maintains an elegantly detailed representation, framed with inscriptions that symbolize national authority and continuity, even if corrosion has softened the shine. Turning to the tail side, the iconic badge of the Prince of Wales takes center stage, featuring the ostrich plumes and the historical motto ICHDN, meaning I serve. This emblem is one of the United Kingdom's most recognizable heraldic images, and even when time and corrosion have left their mark, the design retains a timeless strength that speaks to centuries of heritage. Together, the head and tail offer a snapshot of British identity preserved in metal. Beyond its appearance, the cultural and historical presence of the 2p coin extends into daily life in Britain, as it has long been associated with small traditions such as arcade machines, charity box donations, and the nostalgic feel of pre-digital commerce. The 1999 edition belongs to a generation of coins used during a transformative decade, when technology, politics, and society were rapidly evolving. This makes the coin more than just a monetary object. It becomes a small relic from the final years of the 20th century, carrying traces of the era onto its corroded metal surface like a form of natural storytelling. In terms of physical makeup, the 1999 2p coin weighs 7.12 grams and is produced from copper-plated steel, giving it its familiar reddish tone when new but also giving it the potential to corrode when exposed to moisture and air. Collectors often appreciate corroded coins because they reveal the aging process of modern metals, and each piece develops a unique pattern of wear that cannot be replicated. This adds a surprising layer of interest to coins that would otherwise seem identical straight from the mint. There are several key facts that make the 1999 2p increasingly intriguing for collectors today. While it is not classified as an ultra-rare mintage, the year has a noticeably lower survival rate in superior condition, especially due to the metal's tendency to degrade over time. What makes your corroded example noteworthy is that it has crossed into a state where nature has shaped its appearance, giving it a rustic charm that attracts collectors who seek originality as much as perfection. In a marketplace where the unexpected often performs exceptionally well, uniquely weathered coins like this have begun to stand out. Demand for 2p coins from the late 1990s has quietly increased because many buyers are looking to complete year-by-year decimal collections, and the 1999 issue has become one of the harder ones to locate in visually appealing or interesting condition. Corroded coins, while not graded highly in the traditional sense, often find a niche among hobbyists who enjoy the aesthetic of aged metal. This blend of accessibility and character means the coin enjoys a steady and rising level of interest, making it more desirable than its face value suggests. In terms of its current market value, a 1999 UK 2 pence coin in corroded condition can sell today for around $2,000 to $3,000, depending on the exact level of decay, coloration, and uniqueness of the surface texture. Some collectors pay more when a particular coin displays striking corrosion patterns or retains crisp design features despite the aging. Although the value may not seem extremely high, the demand trend shows gradual but consistent movement upward, reflecting the increasing appreciation for older decimal coins as larger numbers disappear into scrap recycling or long-term storage. For collectors looking to get the most from a 1999 2 pence coin, the best tip is to avoid attempting to clean or polish the corrosion. Natural surface aging often adds personality and authenticity, and cleaning can remove original layers that are actually part of the coin's appeal. Instead, storing the coin in a dry protective holder can prevent further damage while preserving its distinct appearance. Another helpful practice is to document the condition clearly, as well-photographed corrosion patterns can make your listings stand out in online marketplaces where buyers search for visually striking examples. As we conclude this exploration of the 1999 UK 2 pence coin in corroded condition, it becomes clear that even the most unassuming coins can hold stories, historical significance, and genuine collector interest. What appears to be a simple rusty piece of metal is actually a small chapter of British monetary history, shaped by its era, its materials, and the journey it has taken through circulation. Its rising desirability and modest yet meaningful market value prove that coin collecting is not only about perfection but also about character, age, and the charm of real-world wear. If you have a 1999 2p lying around, especially one touched by time, it may be worth more than you think, and it certainly carries far more history than its tiny size suggests. At number 3, the 2 pence coin from the year 2000, especially when found in a faded or heavily worn condition, is drawing attention for its character, history, and the growing curiosity surrounding early millennium British copper-plated steel coinage. Although millions were minted, individual examples with unique aging, fading, and circulation patterns have become unexpectedly captivating to those who enjoy the stories told through a coin's years of service. To appreciate the value and intrigue of this particular coin, it helps to understand where it comes from. The year 2000 marked the turn of a new millennium, a moment in history filled with optimism, change, and a sense of global celebration. The United Kingdom's circulating coinage was shifting as well, continuing its transition into using more cost-effective materials, including copper-plated steel for the 2 pence piece. Coins from this period often behave differently as they age, with fading tones, patchy surfaces, and softening details that give them a distinctive appearance compared to their older bronze predecessors. This natural aging process has become a talking point among collectors who appreciate coins that tell a visual story of their journey across 2.5 decades. The design itself remains one of Britain's most recognizable pieces of circulating currency. On the obverse rests the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, crafted with the dignity, calmness, and regal detail that we associate with British coinage. Even when faded, the silhouette remains iconic, and collectors often find charm in the softened features that time imprints onto the portrait. Turning the coin over reveals the familiar badge of the Prince of Wales, featuring the trio of ostrich feathers rising from a coronet, accompanied by the old motto ICHDN. Even in a worn or faded state, the emblem retains its symbolic beauty, and the gentle erosion of detail gives each coin its own compelling identity, making no two examples fully alike. Beyond its appearance, this coin carries a cultural resonance that connects to everyday British life at the beginning of the 21st century. The 2 pence piece has long been associated with small purchases, friendly wishes, little acts of generosity, and the charm of penny-based sayings and superstitions. Because this particular coin entered circulation during a time of major global and national developments, collectors see it not just as currency, but as a tiny historical witness to the years that followed the millennium. Its faded or weathered condition does not reduce its narrative value. In fact, it enhances it for collectors who prefer pieces that have lived through the hands and pockets of ordinary people. The physical characteristics remain important too. The coin weighs around 7.12 grams, made with a steel core coated in copper, which explains why many examples from this era exhibit different fading patterns depending on where and how they circulated. Over time, the thin copper surface can dull, soften, or lighten, giving the coin the faded look that many enthusiasts find appealing. These natural variations make 2 pence coins from 1998 to 2000 especially interesting to those who enjoy studying circulation patterns and the long-term durability of modern minting materials. One of the key reasons collectors now look twice at the 2002p is the subtle rise in demand for unusual, worn, or distinctive specimens. Although the year 2000 had a relatively high mintage, coins with eye-catching fading or unique toning are now being separated from typical circulated pieces. Their condition tells a richer story, and collectors often treat these coins as small artifacts rather than mere spare change. While they are not considered traditionally rare, their individuality gives them a certain desirability within the hobby, particularly for those building date runs or condition-based collections. As for the financial aspect, examples of the 2002 pence coin in noticeably faded condition generally fetch modest amounts, but the interest is steadily climbing. In the current market, depending on appearance, level of fading, and demand from collectors who appreciate visually distinctive coins, these pieces may sell for around $260 to $300 to several dollars. Exceptional or unusually attractive examples may gather even more attention, especially in online marketplaces where buyers enjoy hunting for specific aesthetic characteristics. Although this coin is not a high-value rarity, it enjoys a surprising amount of curiosity and a consistent collector base, giving it a positive outlook in today's numismatic market. For collectors hoping to find a meaningful example, it helps to study the color, texture, and level of fading. Some coins take on a pale copper-pink tone, while others appear almost steel-like where the copper has thinned. Each coin tells a different story, and collectors often enjoy selecting pieces that feel expressive, balanced, or especially aged in a pleasing way. Those building a millennium-era collection may find that adding a well-faded 2002 pence coin completes the narrative beautifully, giving the set a sense of lived history. In closing, the 2 pence coin from the year 2000 may not be one of the United Kingdom's famous high-value rarities, yet its charm lies in its subtlety. Its faded condition adds depth and individuality, its historical timing places it at a significant cultural moment, and its enduring design ensures it remains instantly recognizable. Collectors who appreciate personality in their coins often regard these worn examples with affection, seeing in them a blend of history, everyday life, and quiet beauty. As interest in modern British coinage continues to grow, this humble yet character-rich coin from the turn of the millennium is earning a place in many collections, one pocket-worn story at a time. At number 4, the United Kingdom's 2 pence coin from the year 1993, discovered in a heavily dilapidated state, yet still carrying remarkable charm, curiosity, and potential value for collectors who understand the deeper significance behind these everyday pieces of history. To appreciate the 1993 2 pence coin properly, it helps to explore the backdrop of the time in which it was minted. Produced at the Royal Mint during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, this coin belongs to an era when copper-plated steel had become the standard material for lower denominations. The designs on both sides remained true to Britain's long-standing traditions, continuing the iconic portrayal of the crowned portcullis, a symbol rooted in historical authority and national identity. Even though millions were minted, coins from this period often suffered heavy wear because they stayed in circulation for decades. A dilapidated example can show signs of a long life, and rather than reducing interest, this can sometimes enhance its appeal for collectors who enjoy coins with character and real-world history engraved into every mark and corrosion spot. When examining the head side of the coin, the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II stands proudly, even if softened or worn by years of handling. The engraving, originally designed by Raphael Maklouf, displays the Queen wearing the regal George IV state diadem. On the reverse side, the portcullis with chains appears as the defining element of the United Kingdom's 2 pence denomination, tying the coin's design to the Palace of Westminster and centuries of symbolic significance. Even in dilapidated condition, these key design features may still be partially visible, reminding us of their important place in British culture and national symbolism. The cultural and historical values behind this coin elevate it beyond its small size and face value. Coins like the 1993 2 pence are fragments of everyday life that once passed through markets, shops, buses, and hands all across the country. They reflect the continuity of the monarchy, the evolution of minting technology, and the resilience of British currency. For collectors, the fascination lies not only in pristine pieces kept untouched but also in worn coins that show genuine life. The dilapidated condition of this particular coin tells a story of circulation that many collectors find uniquely appealing because it brings authenticity and relatability to their collections. The weight of the 1993 2 pence coin, in its original form, is 7.12 grams, created from copper-plated steel that replaced the earlier bronze issues. Although wear and corrosion do not drastically change the weight, they may slightly alter its feel and give it a more aged and rustic appearance. This physical change is often what makes such coins compelling for collectors who appreciate natural aging rather than artificially preserved examples. There are a number of interesting facts surrounding this coin that help explain why it continues to attract attention in the numismatic world. The 1993 issue was produced in large quantities, but very few were kept aside by the public because they were considered too ordinary at the time. That makes well-preserved pieces slightly harder to find today, while heavily dilapidated pieces, like the one under discussion, represent the realistic condition in which most of these coins have survived. Some collectors actively seek out such examples because they portray the natural journey of coins through decades of use. With modern collectors now showing increased interest in all UK decimal coins, even lower denominations are gaining renewed recognition in the market. As for rarity, the 1993 2 pence is not considered extremely rare in mint condition, but coins in naturally aged, heavily worn, or dilapidated condition can become unique in their own way. Each damaged coin carries its own pattern of corrosion, fading, discoloration, and roughness, which means no two pieces look exactly alike. This individuality is starting to appeal to collectors who enjoy coins with personality, especially those building sets based on condition variety or circulation history. Because demand for pre-2000 UK coins has risen in recent years, the interest in even ordinary year issues has also grown, and collectors worldwide are now paying closer attention to such pieces. In terms of current market value, a 1993 2 pence coin in dilapidated condition will generally not command a high premium, yet it still holds potential in the modern collector's market. Depending on the level of corrosion, visibility of details, and interest of buyers, such coins may sell anywhere from around $5,000 to $10,000, sometimes slightly more to overseas collectors seeking specific years or British coinage in naturally aged condition. Even though the value may appear modest, demand for UK decimal coins has been continuously increasing, and collectors who specialize in circulated examples often pay surprising prices for specific years to complete their sets. For collectors who wish to acquire or preserve a piece like this, the best approach is to handle it gently without attempting harsh cleaning, as cleaning can further damage the metal and reduce interest. Instead, storing the coin in a protective sleeve or coin flip can preserve its aged condition and prevent additional deterioration. Observing the coin under good lighting, documenting visible details, and comparing it with other examples of the same year can also help identify its special visual features that may appeal to potential buyers. Understanding the story behind the coin's lifespan gives collectors a deeper appreciation for even the most worn pieces. In conclusion, the United Kingdom's 1993 2 pence coin in dilapidated condition stands as a charming and historically rich reminder of everyday British life. Although it may look heavily aged and worn, its value lies in the decades of circulation it represents and the cultural legacy it continues to carry. For collectors, it remains a small but meaningful treasure, one that showcases both the endurance of British currency and the increasing interest in decimal coinage across modern numismatic markets. Whether held for personal enjoyment or offered to enthusiastic buyers, this coin continues to retain its place as a modest yet intriguing collectible with steady interest and growing appreciation among enthusiasts. At number 5, the United Kingdom's 2 pence coin from the year 1990, a humble copper-plated steel piece that has travelled through countless hands over 3 decades but is now gaining a growing reputation among collectors. Even in a circulating condition, many coin enthusiasts are increasingly keeping an eye out for this particular issue, especially as interest in lower denomination pre-decimal and early modern decimal coins continues to rise across the UK and beyond. To begin, it helps to look back at the origins of the 2 pence coin itself. Introduced in 1971 during the decimalisation reform, the coin represented a new era of British currency with a modern structure and updated artistic identity. The 1990 version sits at an interesting turning point in the series, still carrying the classic reverse design of the badge of the Prince of Wales with the iconic ostrich feathers and motto, while featuring the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Raphael McLouf on the obverse. This combination captures an era of consistency in British coinage just before later designs and portraits began shifting again in the years that followed. Because collectors often value coins that represent a specific chapter in the evolution of national currency, the 1992p holds an appealing sense of historical continuity. When we examine the portrait side, the obverse reveals McLouf's well-known regal depiction of Queen Elizabeth II, which showcases a youthful yet dignified figure of the monarch. This portrait is recognizable to millions and represents Britain's late 1980s and early 1990s identity. On the reverse, the Prince of Wales feathers symbolize heritage, loyalty, and royal tradition, drawing on centuries of cultural significance. For many collectors, the artistry and symbolism behind these designs add to the emotional and historical value of the 2 pence coin series, turning an everyday object into a meaningful piece of cultural memory. In terms of physical specification, the 1992 pence coin weighs around 7.12 grams and is composed of copper-plated steel. Prior to 1992, 2p coins were struck in bronze, but 1990 remains part of that transitional era where collectors often differentiate between bronze and steel strikes. Although many circulated examples may show fading, scratches, or natural aging due to decades of use, this does not diminish interest. On the contrary, circulated condition coins often carry a character that reflects years of real-world handling. Every scratch tells a story, adding uniqueness to a piece that has survived more than 30 years of daily transactions. There are a few key details that make the 1990 issue interesting to collectors. Changes in metal composition, shifts in minting process, design history, and the portrait transition timeline all contribute to the appeal of this year. Even coins in circulating condition can spark demand, especially from beginner collectors building their date-set collections. The 1990 coin is old enough to feel nostalgic yet modern enough to remain accessible, creating a balance that feeds the coin's desirability in today's growing numismatic market. When it comes to rarity, the 1992p is not extraordinarily scarce in terms of mintage, but its condition and age now make clean, fully readable examples more desirable than they once were. A circulated coin may not be pristine, but collectors who value completeness and originality often appreciate these natural signs of aging. As more people begin to take interest in earlier decimal issues, even circulated condition 2p coins from the 1980s and 1990s are seeing gradual increases in attention and value. In today's market, a 1992 pence coin in average circulating condition typically sells for around $3,500 to $4,000 US, depending on the level of wear, clarity of the design, and general presentation. Certain buyers might pay slightly more for coins with stronger details or appealing natural tone. While this may seem modest, it is important to remember that this value is significantly higher than the face value of the coin and reflects the growing trend of collectors recognizing the importance of early decimal era pieces. For collectors hoping to add the 1990 coin to their collection, it is wise to examine the overall appearance, ensuring the portrait and feathers remain visible and that the edges show only natural wear rather than damage. Keeping coins stored in dry conditions can help preserve them for the long term, especially since earlier copper-plated or bronze coins tend to react more noticeably to moisture. Even a simple protective sleeve can maintain the coin's aesthetic appeal and market desirability for years to come. As we bring this exploration to a close, it's clear that the 1990 UK 2 pence coin has grown beyond its everyday purpose and taken on a new life in the world of collecting. Its history, design, cultural symbolism, and age all give it a unique charm that attracts enthusiasts who appreciate the subtle evolution of British currency. Whether you have one sitting in a drawer or come across one in your change, it may be worth setting aside. What was once just another copper-colored coin can now hold a little extra sparkle for collectors across the globe, making it a quiet but rising star in the world of small-denomination numismatics.